Students, and welcome to the lecture 3. In this specific lecture we will use to um, going through some amazing loops. Okay, so in today's lecture we will have loops and its execution control. In the previous lecture we have gone through matrix operations and some problems of matrix and arrays. In this lecture, we will go through loops and its execution. So we can use various loops in MATLAB, and in this particular lecture, we will use only for loop and while loop. So as you can see, the structure of for loop will look like this. You will give it a condition, and for I equals to 1 canon 10, and then statements and in the end format. So this is the format of for loop. Now coming to the next slide, the while loop. While loop is the commands below will execute if conditions is true. So we have this kind of structure in while loop. This is the terminate condition of while loop. Basically, this is the terminate condition of while loop, and we have number of statements execution until the condition the end condition is met. Okay, so moving on, coming to the next slide. Okay, when to use for loop. So for loop is used whenever it is a set of operations are to be repeated a specific number of times. Like for example, if you find the first 10 terms of Fibonacci series and find factorial of a number n, this is a condition for using for loop. If you want to repeat several statements in a specific number, then we will use for loop. Like first terms of a series, or a first 10 birds in a trees or something like that. So coming to the next slide, when to use while loop. So while loop is used when a set of operations are repeated until a certain condition is met. For example, find all terms of Fibonacci series is less than 300, or it is a new example, which is the find the location of a goal by a time 0.1 second until it reaches the ground. So we will go through many these two examples, which is um, first for loop. Let me tell you the example number one, which is find 10 terms of Fibonacci series. We will go through it. So open your MATLAB. So let's start using for loop for Fibonacci series of um, execution of Fibonacci series until 10 terms. Okay, so uh, command MATLAB into the command window, command edit, and command um, Fibonacci series, Fibo using 4, and then enter. So as you can see, Fibonacci 4, this is the a previous a pre-coded editor. Then let me clear it to starting from shown. Okay, start this editor, and just first I would like to put a comment on it. So comment um, Fibonacci series um, using for loop, and then coming to the next step, let's we have to repeat the or execute the number of elements of Fibonacci series until 10. So give it to endpoint 10, and then give it Fibonacci series. Basically Fibo is equal to that's 1 comma 1. So what is this condition? This condition basically give us a first two elements of Fibonacci series, which is 1, which is the first element is 1 and the second element is also a 1. um, so the Fibonacci series will be like that: 1, the second element will be 1, the third element will be 1 plus 1, basically 2, then third will be 2 plus 1 is equal to 3, then fourth will be the 3 plus 2 is equal to 5, and so on. So it is the communication. Now apply the for loop. For um, let's um, let's let's give it a condition for I is equal to 3 caution cotton n. So why 3 cotton n? Because we already give or assigned two element of series, which is 1 and 1. So our series will be started from 3, not from 1. Okay, so for this we have to create this. Okay, now coming to the Fibonacci, Fibo I is equal to Fibo I minus 1 plus Fibo I minus 2, and then close it. So what this, okay, it is Fibo. So what will this function will give us? And then this is the main condition to be fulfilled by a Fibonacci series in order to execute the element of Fibonacci series. The first, the execution will be like that: 1, let's say to the y1, the second will be the I minus 1 and I minus 2. So this is the main condition for executing the next element of Fibonacci series, and then put an AND statement at here, and let's save it. So we have just saved it by pressing Ctrl plus S, which is going to save. Now coming back to the command window, and I previously used it, so I will go through Fibo Fibo using 4. Okay, so we just call that file into the command window, which is Fibo using 4, and as you can see in workspace window, this new variable has got initiated, and its value is also got initiated. So calling the Fibo, so call the Fibo, and as you can see, it give us a Fibonacci series until the 10th element, which is a 55. So it is the using of for loop to execute the elements of a Fibonacci series until 10 elements. Okay, now so we have gone through the for loop. We find out the first 10 elements of Fibonacci series. Now coming to the while loop. So where when we use while loop is used to repeat a statement until a and condition or a certain condition is met. So we will take an example of, find out the all terms of Fibonacci series less than 300. Okay, so give it a command. Let's clear this window first, and then give it a command, add it to let's say add it to Fibo 4, Fibo using while. So it is a file name. So as you can see, the file name is also got started at the editor, and this is the previous editor which I coded previously. So let me clear this then this command and started with a new command. Okay, so as you can see, we will first write the percent is always used command it as to put some comments. So let's initiate it with fibo. Let's enter fibo is equal to 1 comma 1. And now coming to the first element got the first variable got executed. And now coming to the now basically coming to the so coming to the fibo, let's we have just give it a fibo two elements, which is 1 and 1. Now put the while loop at it here, while let's fibo, and it's basically the end fibo end element, and which is less than 300. Okay, so this is the terminate condition we just gave it to a Fibonacci series. Now let's give it a condition. Fibo new will be equal to Fibo and plus Fibo and minus 1. And so this command will basically execute the Fibonacci series, um, and we just give it a terminate condition, which would be like that: Fibo is equal to Fibo comma Fibo new. And put an endpoint. So this is the Fibonacci series in while loop until it crosses the 300. Okay, so this command will execute it several times until it met this condition and this condition. Sorry, let me take you to this. Put it here. Okay, so let me take it. Fibo and minus 1. Okay, so let's save it, and now call this call this file by Fibo using while. So we got an array because line 5 में Fibo and Fibo new is equal to got allotted. Let's let let's see this what we have done in this thing. Okay, so let's do that. We have several things to do at here. So students, why we getting this error? Because this is Philo new, not Fibo new. So put it the Fibo new, and now it is just got so good. So save it. Let's control save it, and then call Fibo using while. So as we can see, Fibo is get at here. So just call Fibo, and as you can see, it gives us elements of Fibonacci series until the last element, which is 337. But you have to remember that thing, that it exceeds its limit. The the limit was to, we want series until 300, but it is the 377. So to avoid this special element, we have to put a new command for it, which is something like that, that fibo new fibo new is equal to basically a null. Okay, so fibo new would be the null for it. So that fibo new going to be the null, sorry, fibo new, fibo and would be the the null, so to avoid the exceed its limit. So let's save it and see it would work or not. Let's using it and called fibo. So as we can see, at this time it just got allotted the last element, which is 233, and we want that thing. Okay, so this is the Fibonacci series using while loop, and this was the Fibonacci series using for loop. So we just gone through Fibonacci series using while loop and for loop. So coming to the our next example, so this is the another good example of Fibonacci series. The find factorial, oh sorry, for loop for the find factorial of number n, we can do this also, and let me tell you in the next lecture. So the new the new example of while loop is location of a ball thrown upward is given by. So we will do this example right now, and the equation which could we use it, this equation, which is y is equal to v naught t minus half gt square. So we will use it and find the location of boil, so location of ball on at every 0.1 second until it reaches the ground. So let us do that. So I added, put ball vertical. So um, it is a predefined lecture. Let me clear it for you. And so let me first extend it for some time. Okay, so let's initiate its value. Let's took y, which is the position of ground. It would be 0 for initially, and v naught, which will basically the initial speed. Let's take it a 30 meter per second, and then we want a time which would be 0 second, and then g, gravitational constant, which will be 9.8. so it is the condition for it is the initial condition for the ground position, and so take to the boil. So let's initiate it with while loop, while let's um, y is less than y is less than or equal to 0. So it is the condition for the ball when it reaches the ground. So it is a condition for it ball it reaches the ground. um, so let us take the example of this. Okay, so we will do it not less than, but greater than equal to 0. This condition should be must satisfy. So let's take the time period which we want to execute, or which we want to know the ball's location. So time would be t is equals to t plus 0.1 second, which we want to know the time for every 0.1 second after, and this condition will be satisfied. Y is equals to v naught into t minus g into t, um, gt square, divided by 2 So this is the this condition will give us the position after every 0.1 second, and then to display the data we use this command, this, to display this, and semicircle bracket, a square bracket. Let's take at t is equals to um, num2 str t location is equals to num2 str y, and then give it a end command. Okay, so what is going to be here? We want to know the location of a ball vertically by every 0.1 second. So we gave it a condition in time to know the after every 0.1 second, and it would give us the the position of ball after 0.1 second. And this is the mm, string command, which don't worry, we will bear with it, we will cover it in next lecture. So don't go be panic about this command, we will cover it on the next lecture, in the next lecture. Okay, so simply this is the command for knowing the ball's projection at vertically and to know its location after 0.1 second. So let's save it, and let's call this ball vertical, and see what would happen. So as you can so it gave us the position of ball after every 0.1 second. As you can see, it is started with 0.1 second and location is 2.951, and after every 0.1 second the location is changes. So this is the this is the and at the end point, as you can see, this the last value is negative, so which is going to below the surface of earth, so it would be not countable in the like in the record. So by avoiding this data, we will simply put we will simply select this thing and put it, we will select this, let's select this and put it just right before, put it just right before this, and now it is, now it will, now let's save it and just recall ball vertical. And now as you can see, the new data is starting with 0 at location 0, and after every second it is giving us data, and the last position is 6.1 second, which is 0.62 second, 0.62 meter. So this is the projection of ball after every zero point 0.1 second. So by this I will end this lecture, and in the next lecture we will learn about some strings operations on arrays. Till then, good night, bye bye, and Vande Matram.